So we've made it to the last lesson in our course. This is presenting the final product. And what do I mean by that? Well, this is a presentation of your final images to your client, and it's actually crucial to the success of your business that you follow this through using the same levels of professionalism and quality you used all the way through this process. Your client is super excited to see their wedding images, and you need to be super excited to show them, right? Their expectations are high, and you need to match and exceed those expectations with what you're going to deliver them. So you need to match your level of excitement. I can't wait to show you these photographs. So find out in advance when the couple are going off on honeymoon, and if so, when will they be back? And target a maximum 14-day period to have your final photographs ready. Be ready to call the couple the day after they arrive back from honeymoon, so you land at the airport. Next day they're getting a phone call for you, I've got your photographs ready. They'll be like, wow, they'll be on cloud 9, right? Tell them how excited you are. I can't wait to show these images. Are some of the best wedding photographs I've ever taken, honestly. So really get them excited. And one key thing I remember, always be selling. I don't even know how we're going to get them all in the album. There's that many good pictures here. How are they all going to fit? We might need to add extra pages. Always selling. Right, so you're going to explain to them how you're going to present these photographs to them when you're on the phone to them. Say, I'm going to get you back into the studio. I'm going to show you your slideshow of the wedding. It'll be about 15-20 minutes, and it'll use the music. Remember the music that we picked at your pre-wedding meeting? That'll be set to that. Then I'm going to go through the album design process with you. Actually, at that point I would get Maura to go through the process with her, because it was my wife, my assistant, she would actually do the album design. We'll then present them with a set of one-time only offers on wall art, starting from £295. I would tell them this in advance. I'll say, look, when you come in, I want to show you some products for your wall, and I'm going to make you an amazing offer on them. Right, so be aware of that, be ready for that. So, but it'll be your only chance to get that offer. I'm telling them up front, they get an offer when they come in. After they leave, it's too late. And I explain that the album lead time is going to be 21 days from confirmation of the final design. So once they finalise and sign off on the design of the album, it's 21 days after that they actually physically get their album. And the lead time for the initial design, once we have them in and they go away, we'll tell them we'll get the initial design to them in 7 days. Right, now if you follow this process, you're going to add pounds to your bookings, right? This is the easiest sale you will ever do in the wedding business, it really is. And there's so many people just completely ignore this, they forget it. Bear in mind, your clients are in an amazing mood. They've had an amazing honeymoon. They're super excited to see their photographs. In terms of where they are, they're so high. They're way up here, right? And you want to capture that a moment, right? And they've probably got loads of wedding gift money to spend, because a lot of people nowadays, they don't give them wedding gifts. They give them hard cash, right? So they might actually, bear in mind, they've probably been saving for years for this wedding, and suddenly they're no longer have to put aside so many hundreds of pounds each month, and they've been left with some cash at the end of it as well from guests, so they've got money to spend. So I'm going to treat this wedding viewing just like the same way I treat a portrait sales viewing, and I'm selling on the emotion that they have at the time of viewing those images. I've got them in a high, I've got them in a spending mood, and I'm going to take advantage of that, and I'll make no excuses for it. First thing I do when I arrive, I'm going to offer them a wee glass of fizz. I thought you'd like a wee glass of fizz to celebrate. Coming out to see your pictures. That makes them all happy. Usually one of them's driving, so one of them gets to drink both glasses of fizz, which is fine. And you tell them I'm going to leave them to watch their slideshow on their own in a darkened room. And I'll have tissues, a box of tissues to hand, and I make a joke. It's usually the grooms that end up in tears and all that carry on. So you're telling them they are going to get emotional about this, because they will. They actually really end up in tears with the music that they've picked and the images and stuff. So I've viewed their slideshow. I then present them with our digital images, and we used a photoflashdrive.com, and we had branded gift bags made up from a carrier bag shop company. So right away I said to them, now here's your final images. That they were already surprised. Oh, I didn't realise I'd get my images today. Of course you had, they're all finished, they're done. Here's your images on USB. Right? Every album, every wedding booking we had, we did an album and we did the digital images. So we get our digital images. They were at that point, says, oh, don't give them digital images, you'll never be able to sell any prints. Who sells prints nowadays, right? Online print galleries, we maybe made a few, maybe £100 a wedding if we were lucky on online prints, right? This way, we've made our money up front. We're charging a high enough value, I'm happy to give them digital images, but this is what we do next. So we talk about the album design process first. And if at this point, if they had picked a lower spec album than the one I wanted, my higher end ones, I say to them, is this still the design you were after, right? That's your sales opportunity. Can explain the benefits of the upgrade. Look, we've got so many pictures here. I honestly don't know how we can fit them in this 30-page album. Honestly, we're really going to really struggle. We're going to cut things out. You're aware of that, and hopefully then talk them up to the next thing. It's going to be a struggle. Would you like to upgrade to this one for just £200 more? And at that point, you shut up. You don't say a word. Because the first person that speaks at that point, again, is going to it's either going to be them, and they're going to say yes or no, or it's going to be you, and they're going to say no. So you shut up and let them speak. We ask them to pick their top 20 album selects and leave the album design to us. Now I say to them, look, don't worry, you'll still get to sign off the album, you'll still get to make changes, but we're experienced at designing albums. We know what needs to go into a wedding album to tell the story of your day. But just give us a start. Pick 20, that's all I want, because if you pick 100, I'm going to struggle to get them all to fit in the right sequence, because I've got so many pages I've got to fill. That's going to be on a page for my wedding prep, my double page spread here. And if I get odd numbers, it's going to make it awkward. So don't go and give me 100 pictures, please don't. Just give me 20, your 20 favourites, and then I'll design the album around that, and I'll send it back to you and then let you pick and choose and swap, because it's much easier that way to do it. And I say, now please promise to get these selects back to me in a week. And that's, you're trying to get them to stay on the hook, because if they don't get them back in a week, life takes over, and before they know it, they're back at work and do all of it. And it could be a year, 2 years before you get the album finished, and that doesn't help any of us, because you want to keep them excited. And I also say to them, look, I don't want to do any more than 3 drafts here, so 3 designs. If by the 3rd one you still haven't signed it off, I'm actually going to invite you back into the studio to sit alongside me and finish it. Right? Again, that's you telling me, I don't want your changes in dribs and drabs. I'm not wanting you to tell me 2 changes one time, you get a 2nd draft, tell me another 2 changes, 3rd draft. I want you to tell me all the changes at once, right? This is just to get things moving along properly. You're a professional, you know what you're doing. Make sure you're maintaining control at all times here. Now, this is where I bring the raw images back up on screen, the couple shots. I bring them all back up one by one. Now I say, now you've picked that album with the cover image. What image would you like in the cover? And this is sales opportunity 2, because we've got in my studio viewing room, I've got wall art all around the walls with the full pricing marked on them. And they can be £700, £800, £1,500. Now, I say to them, right, look at all the rest of these wow images here. What's your favourite? Right, I know you want that one for the cover. Is that your favourite? Or just because remember the cover has to be a certain landscape image, it can't be a tall image. I say, is that your favourite? Or would it be that one? I says, because see, if you look at these images around the viewing room here, Today, I can give you 50% off any of the prices of these if you order it today. It's only available at the viewing, right? And 90% of the time, they're going to go, oh, wow, right, okay, let's have a look. And they pick it. Now, I actually also say, I'll tell you what, you don't even need to pick the image today. You just tell me which size you want to go for, and we'll get that in order, and you can sit back at home and look at your images again and decide what image you want then. So you don't have to rush the decision about picking what actual picture you want, but you just tell me if you want that thing on your wall, that piece of art on your wall. And again, you do it in the situation saying, do you prefer the 30-inch or would the 40 be fine in your house? And you shut up. Right? You're not asking them a closed question. You're not saying, do you want would you like a piece of wall art, yes or no? No, you're saying, do you prefer the 30-inch or the 40-inch? Which one would look best in your house? And you shut up and you let them speak. Last sales opportunity. Did you want to add the parents' albums, gift albums for the brides, or gift albums for the grandparents? So we've got parents' albums to think about. If we've already got them, we intend to talk about gift albums for the bridesmaids. If I can order them at the same time as your album, I can actually give you a £100 discount on them. So again, what you're doing here is, you might think, oh, why am I selling wall art for 50% off? Why am I giving them a discount on the album? Because these are sales you would not have got otherwise. So you're selling a piece of wall art that maybe you would normally sell for £800. I'm selling for £400, but that piece of wall art cost me £150. So I'm still making £250 on it that I would never have got. So that's why you do it. It's a one-time opportunity to add profit to your album. The same with these parents' albums. Have you seen the thank you cards we can do? You can even do little thank you cards. So this is genuinely the biggest miss sales opportunity in the wedding photography business. I guarantee you, so many photographers just don't do this. If you do it, you could add up to £1,000 and a bit more to your booking revenue every single wedding. Think about that. You know, if you say you add £500 or $700 to every wedding, and you do 40 weddings a year, yeah, that's £20,000. That's a lot of money, right? So think about what you could be adding to your turnover. And again, sensible with the pricing on these. That's why I do a 50% cut on my wall art, because it's an opportunity for additional profit that I was never ever going to get. It's amazing. And you make these, so you're making these offers absolutely irresistible. Now remember, your album process can be lengthy with certain clients. You've got to try and bring them in, keep them under control. Remain 100% committed to your client. You might get absolutely fed up with them at this point because they're taking months to get their album back to you. But you always be professional. Always think of the referrals that they're going to get back to you. For me, the worst people were doctors and teachers. They seem to take forever. I don't know why. They're busy professionals, so they tend to forget what's going on with the album until somebody says to them, have you got your wedding album yet? And this is like a year and a half after the album. Actually, we're retired from weddings now, and I still have, I think, 8 wedding albums sitting that were never ever finished, and a couples have never ever came back and said, "Can I get my album?" They paid for it. They paid for it. So what can you do? When the final album's ready, have it properly presented in a nice sturdy branded carrier bag, the same kind of thing you would get in a top luxury brand clothing store. That's the kind of thing, you know, the nice big cardboardy bags, the rope handles. You can get them online. Carrierbagshop.co.uk in the UK sells them. You get them branded, your own colour scheme and everything. They look great because presentation is everything. You're a luxury brand, remember, don't forget that. And if you do it this way, it means you've been a luxury brand right from the very start of the process, right to the very finish. That's what you want. So I'll leave you there. Next lesson is just going to be a recap of the whole course. I hope you've enjoyed where you've got to. That image there is our Platinum Fine Art album we used to have with the aluminium cover on it, and we branded it in red to match our branding. So I'll let you see. Obviously, if there's any things you think you need to cover again in this particular section, just drop me an email and I'll answer them as best I can.